So Business Builders Mini Intensive. So we go through 27 questions to double your income as a real estate agent, 9 lies that are holding your business back, and the truth that will set you free. These are components that we teach in the, like I was telling you before, there's these Business Builders Intensive that I do twice a year. It's $6,500 to be a part of it. I actually teach you some of the components in that. As a business owner of your own life, you know, the CEO of your own life. And teach you some of these principles to really help your business grow. Access to the online resources, a backdoor fast track for your own clients so they're not going through the normal thing. You'll have your own way to connect your clients to the HomeQuest Assistance Program. Makes it really easy for them. And then how to use the HomeQuest certification to attract more business. Obviously using it in your marketing, using the kind of stuff. And how to help us really attract more investors. Because the more investors we have, the more funding we can do. The more funding we can do, the more closings you get. The shorter the timeline between when they get into the program and when they're out of the program. Now there have been cases where we've had families actually get into the program and end up buying a house cash after a few months. Because in learning the Mind for Money techniques, we had one family bought a house for $45,000. Obviously you can find those now. And they went through the program and they didn't realize that they had some available capital and some ways of just managing the finances different, that within the course of just about 4 months, they went from not being able to qualify for a home to buying it cash. That's huge. That's huge. That's it. So that's my presentation. What questions do you have?
What options do the client have when you throw out, this is the fee I need, how fast do they have to be paying, $18.74 or whatever?
They can pay up front, or there's a payment program. I don't remember the details of the payment program. Kevin, do you remember the details of the payment program?
So it's,
Yeah.
it's 4 payments, right?
Yeah, I think it's just broken down in 4 equal payments.
Well, we're basically assuming these are people that were out trying to buy a house, didn't qualify through the conventional method, looking for an alternative source, so they should have had some down payment or closing cost money available.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's usually what
And
happens.
most of it's going to the same thing anyway.
It's going to end up going towards a down payment anyway. And if for some crazy reason that there's a new shift in the market and all of a sudden that there's new funding options on commercial availabilities and stuff, you don't have to go through our funding sources. It's like if we've got you to that point, we can move you straight into that, we'll do that. I mean, we're more interested in just making sure funding happens for people, you know, than we are using our investors. It's like if things shift, we're, well, by all means happy.
So is this an online course or is this paying we ship the material?
No, it's live online. We'll actually be doing probably another live course here in Arizona so we can record a few more things. But right now we do them live in webinar formats. They're able to ask questions. I mean, it's kind of crazy. We tested it, I guess it was about 3 years ago, we tested the online training program. And the course that we had people in different states, different countries. We had people in Canada that were also a part of it as well, in Hawaii, you know, different time zones. And it was interesting. We ended up getting more honesty out of the online class than we did in the live class. And honesty is key in finances. I mean, it's key, especially with this program. And it has everything to do with this. You know, when you're not honest with it, you also can't fix it. If you're really not honest, if you can't be clear and you can't ask the real question you got, you can't change it. And so we were pleasantly surprised at the feedback we got from online clients. And the way it works is that there's literally, it's same kind of slideshow presentation, similar branding, I guess you could say. And in the corner of their screen, the whole entire time, they can actually chat questions. And we have usually an accountant on staff that's been through the program, and they can get answers to the questions just like immediately. Any ones that they don't have the answer to right away that seems like beneficial, it's then forwarded to the presenter, and then they're able to answer the question, and for the whole entire group. So it's kind of a cool interactive format. When I do these, I literally draw on the screen and create the thing so everybody can see that it's very interactive. We've gotten some great feedback in terms of it's the best online course they've ever taken because it's alive. And it's not just this dead flip through the thing, like zone out.
So basically what you're doing, if I get this right, you have a bunch of investors, right? And you're telling your investors, we're going to educate your buyers to make them just a little bit more educated on buying a home so you have a better chance of doing a correct investment with us?
Well, it's not just that. They're going to show improvement. So they're going to show income improvement. They're going to show debt decreasing over the time that they're in the course. We're actually tracking their personal financial movement. And by by showing percent increases, there's certain benchmarks that are in the system that as soon as they hit certain benchmarks, we send them over to the investors and say, they're ready. Here, and they know what that means. They know that that means they've had at least a certain, either a 20% increase in annualized income. That's a shift that's happened. They've decreased a certain percentage of their debt. Their debt to their income to outgo ratio has shifted. They've increased their savings to a certain number or a certain percentage of the value of home they're wanting to buy. If they've gotten to the 5% mark or the 10% mark, those are trigger points for us. So they see it as these people are improving their life.
So the uncle with all the money,
Mm-hmm.
right? I assume that the uncle is investing in the Home Green program here in like a joint account, and then your company's buying individual homes, or is the uncle is paying cash for the house?
They buy direct. They just buy direct. We're not even in the transaction.
Right.
We just connect them and then they go and pay cash for it. They sign, there's a form that they actually sign. It's a letter of intent to place funds, and it's actually signed by both the investor and the potential homeowner, and it basically outlines kind of the details. Here's how much you're able to spend. Here's your letter of intent. That money is going to be put in escrow account for 90 days, waiting for you to buy the house. So it's like, think about it. It's like here's a home buyer going out with a real estate agent and says, I got the money in escrow already. It's already in escrow.
So as a realtor, I'm making money on the sale of the house,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Well, on the sale of the house, that's where you make your money. You're the buyer's agent, so you got when they
Right.
buy the house, then that's where you make your money.
Right. Are you using this program here to attract the investors?
Yeah, well, the program, we're attracting the investors that are interested in people making movements. There's a lot of people with money that are just kind of holding it because they don't trust who to invest it in. They say, well, we'll show you who to invest in. We'll show you to put it in. And they know that even if the dollar drops and goes to pop, that they're investing in properties. They're investing in physical assets that have income-producing people that regardless of the money situations, they're able to then help them out.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but how I look at the program is it's really more of an option if option A doesn't happen. So if I'm a buyer's agent and I have a client that wants to look for a property, and I hook them up with a loan officer that tries to do a pre-qual or an LSR, and they can't qualify for financing, that's, instead of me walking away from that buyer, that's when I would consider this program as option B.
Yep.
So you may never get to option B, and
Yep, may never.
And
you may
if you
use
know
this as
that's
a
a
marketing
good
tool to get them, and then you're going to find they have option A available.
right.
We think that's great, and that's why we have mortgage companies excited about this program because they know there's a latent amount of people that don't even actually know that they can actually qualify for a home.
So this is a program that basically gives people hope and increases the chances of a transaction happening with that client,
Correct.
as opposed to walking away and saying, let's just talk in 6 months to a year, because you don't qualify for conventional financing right now.
Yep.
This program gives them a chance to engage, and that buyer's agent still gets a chance to facilitate a transaction with that client if they go through this program.
But it doesn't guarantee the buyer, once he goes through the program, he's going to get a house, though, does it?
Correct.
So give an
And that's
example
important. I want to make sure that they're clear, and they're clear on both their opportunity and the risk. So if someone gets into the program and they increase their income by a mere 10%, let's say they were making $20,000, so they increase their income by $2,000, they spent $1,800 to increase their income by $2,000. Why wouldn't you do it? If you had a machine that you put $1 in, you get $2 out, or $1.50. When would you stop putting dollars in? Financial education is worth a lot in any market. That's how I look at it. Really, for me and my involvement, it's like the program itself sells on its own. Mine for Money is a whole program. It's online, and there's ways that you can buy it there. We tell them flat out. It's even on that sheet that you got. It's like we give no guarantee that you're going to qualify for a mortgage. But what we're going to do is put you in a position that you will have the best chance at both our funding and funding down the road in commercial opportunities. That's what they're basically in the system for at least minimum of 4 months, because that's pretty much how long it takes to go through the entire coursework. Now, if they end up making their benchmarks and making those things happen quicker, then they get front-loaded and they get thrown to the investors sooner. Now, up to 24 months, because we know that by about the 24-month mark, they're probably going to start being able to qualify for newer, other financing options anyway. And we'd love to be able to help them in that space too, just transition them over to that space. So their notes, they range. I mean, they're given offers. So typically it's a 4-year note at the shortest, in terms of the length of their note before they have to get a refinance or things like that. 4 years.
So,
Some will do 30. I mean, we've had a couple that, they did a full 30-year note.
so the bottom line, my question then is, if you got qualified buyers out there under the circumstances that you're talking about here, why would it be necessary for them to take the course?
Wouldn't be. If they're already qualified, they just go and get qualified. They
No,
just
no,
go
I
and get
mean,
the money.
like, we're talking about option B, where they didn't get qualified with the conventional or FHA or anybody else,
Uh-huh.
and they're coming to you for your investor money,
Uh-huh.
right? Why do they have to take this course?
Because that's the only way the investors will invest in them. They're
By
investing in the investors that we attract are interested in seeing America progress. They don't care about the past. They want to see progress. That's what they're
Right.
investing in. They're investing in American progress. And so if they're not in the course, tracking results and improving and being able to validate their improvement, they're not going to invest. Simple as that. They're just not going to invest. They say, well, if you don't want to take the course, that's fine. We just won't invest. It's kind of like privatizing banking a little bit better. So it doesn't have to be so subsidized. Because, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why is it, investors got money in a savings account that's making 0.25%, and they've got millions of dollars at 0.25% interest. And all the bank's doing to secure it is putting it into mortgages at 3.5% or whatever, offsetting their deals they get from the government. It's like, why not just go directly to it?
What is the, you never did talk, what's the interest rate for these investors that charge the buyers?
Well, what we're seeing right now is that they're offering out about 6.5%. I mean, so it's not great. Obviously, they can get better if they've got great credit and stuff. There's amazingly low interest rates, but it's still solid. It's still better than anything else.
Private money is usually real expensive.
Yeah, 18%. I mean, that's what I'm seeing hard money right now, 18%, which is crazy because it was even less when the interest rates were lower. And yeah, we'd love to see this program grow. Obviously, I think it's fitting a major need in the marketplace. We're only trying to help the people that don't have help someplace already.